Hey you guys, it's Katya with Hindustan Astrology here, and in today's video we are going to discuss the month of October 2024 Vedic Sidereal forecast. Now this month we have a lot going on. It is eclipse season. We have, on the 2nd, our solar eclipse, which is in Virgo, Hasta Nakshatra, and then we have Jupiter going retrograde. And right after that, we have Pluto going direct. Luckily, Venus will be in her own sign of Libra this month. This is our saving grace. This is going to help tensions ease and conflicts resolve. So without further ado, let's start the presentation. Okay, so here we have right off the bat on October 2nd at 2:49 p.m. EST, we have our new moon annular solar eclipse. It is taking place at 15 degrees 51 minutes of Virgo, Hasta Nakshatra, and it is conjunct Mercury, and he's in his best sign. It's not only a sign of exaltation, but it's also his Mulai Trikona sign, or his best sign. That also is going to be helping us ease some of this tension, but it also shows us where the eclipse energy is going to show up, right? Mercury rules communication, media, writing. So certainly we will be getting some information coming out of the shadows that we did not previously know. Mars will be giving his 4th aspect to this eclipse, and Jupiter's giving his 5th. So that will actually embolden the moon and sun and Mercury and K2 at this time. Now, I always do my charts from DC, right? Because that's where I live. I live in the United States, and that's our government headquarters. So it's interesting that the ascendant for this chart is the same as it is for the United States, which is Sagittarius. Now we are a Mula ascendant, which is, the first part of Sagittarius, and this is in Purva Ashada. But what you need to understand is that Purva Ashada means declaration of war. That's one of the meanings of it. It is called the Invincible Star, and it is about early victory. But when there are significant planets, or like here we have the ascendant in Purva Ashada on a world scale, it's war. And I think we all are seeing what's happening in the Middle East right now, and it's pretty clear that this is not ending anytime soon. So I feel like this solar eclipse is going to really be the start of the of World War III, essentially. And I don't want to be a Debbie Downer. I'm not trying to be negative. I'm being very realistic, because we do have Mars going into Cancer. Well, he's on this day, he's at the end of Gemini, so he's going to go into Cancer. And when he hits, I forget what degree it is, but it's December 6th, Mars will go retrograde in Cancer. And that is when things are going to heat up. So this is really telling right here that this is the same as the United States, because the United States also has their Mars in Gemini, okay, with 4 other planets too. I think it's like Sun, Mars, Mercury, I think. But anyway, the point is that this Sagittarius ascendant is significant, making Jupiter the chart ruler, and Jupiter is in the 6th house of open enemies. Jupiter's great benefic, so having him there on this day is actually going to help. Now this is, I'm calculating this at the exact time of the new moon. The eclipse lasts all day long, right? But this is the peak time, because this is the actual time of the new moon happening. And a new moon is what? It's new beginnings. It's hope. right? Jupiter is the planet of hope. So maybe this is telling us that um, we can get out of this conflict, right? We don't have to fall down the rabbit hole and just start, World War III. So that is a good sign, having Jupiter as the ascendant lord. Um, Now, other things that are significant about this, the new moon is happening in the 10th house. What is the 10th house? The 10th house is the government. So we're seeing that the information that is coming out of the shadows will be about the government. And I don't know about you, but I don't know why. Um, I don't understand how they have such a hold on what's going on. I mean, I know there's lots of conspiracy theories and yada yada, but I mean, it blows my mind that nobody is coming to the aid of the people that are experiencing the conflict. And I'll just leave it there. So I think that we're going to find out some very interesting information at this time. We do have Neptune retrograde opposite this new moon. Now, it is in the fourth house of the homeland. So let's talk about Neptune retrograde. When Neptune is direct, he's the planet of illusion, delusion, otherworldliness, music, things that you can't put your finger on, things that are ethereal. But it can talk about scandals and deceit. And I have discovered that when Neptune goes retrograde, it's almost like an eclipse kind of feeling where things come out of the shadows that you didn't know before, right? I call it the whistleblower. This is somebody who has been in the shadows and then they come out to expose them. And it is opposite. It is in the fourth house of the homeland and it is opposite the 10th house of government. So, oh boy, this is going to be a super interesting eclipse. So I would just say, be careful, have eyes in the back of your head, get your supplies, um, because things are getting pretty spicy. Okay. Um, and on a personal level, Neptune being with Rahu and its opposite, if you have significant planets in Virgo, then the seventh house is the house of partnership. There could be lies and deceit that are coming out about your partnerships at this time. So just pay attention. Um, you know, Hasta, which is the nakshatra of the moon, um, is the hand. And the deity is Savitur, who is one of the Adityas or aspects of the sun. And he brings the hands that bring golden opportunities, right? Good luck is seen here. So that is also something positive. However, on the other side, it's not just the hand, it's the fist that punches, right? So Hasta people can get feisty, yes, it is in Virgo, and Virgo people are not known for being feisty. However, Hasta is if when it's off kilter, can show the hand that takes, like a thief. Criminals are associated with Hasta. So yeah, it's going to be real interesting. And the thing is that all four of these planets are in the same nakshatra. Woo! Yeah, this is going to be interesting. So on a personal level, you know, um, a positive way to approach this would be to focus on your prayers on this day. Personally, I'm staying inside. I'm going to be doing my mantras all day. I'm going to be burning incense and sage and just really trying to keep the energy clean. And I suggest if you can, now if you have to work and stuff, that's, you can't have control over that. But if you can take just a couple minutes aside, let's say okay, so it's at 2:49 p.m. EST, you're at work, 2:45, go to the bathroom, try to just take some time for yourself. If you can't say mantras outside, say them in your mind It works well. And say a prayer, say a prayer for peace, because Rahu is in Pisces, which is about peace. It's about spiritual awakening. And if you haven't noticed, this whole planet is in a spiritual awakening right now. So I feel like we really have got to utilize this eclipse to promote peace. Okay. Um, Saturn's retrograde. He doesn't go direct until next month. Um, Jupiter's going to go retrograde in a few weeks after this. So we're going to be feeling also the shadow. And when, planets are retrograde, they're stronger, they're brighter in the night sky. So Jupiter might also be our saving grace, because guess what? He's in Taurus, and Taurus is ruled by Venus, and Venus is in her own and best sign. So, and she's in Swati. Swati is about the cypress tree that sways in the breeze, right, is able to compromise, is able to see both sides of an argument. I mean, the flip side, the downside of it is that, Swati can sometimes be spineless, right? Bend over too much for somebody else. But it's about resolving conflict. So, we've got, Venus and Jupiter are helping us on this eclipse. So, I may or may not do it through the 12 signs. I have to travel actually next week. Not the best time, but I need to go. So, if you don't know where this is happening for you, don't forget I have a new chart calculator. All you have to do is go to hindustanastrology.com. On the tabs, click on chart calculator, scroll down, and you'll see it. And yes, you get your birth and your Navamsha chart. So that, what you want to be looking for is your ascendant and your moon. So for instance, if you are a Cancer ascendant, then the eclipse is happening in your third house, right? Because this South Indian goes around like a circle. So if you are a Gemini ascendant, then the eclipse is happening in your fourth house. And then you figure out, oh, well, what do those houses mean, right? Because I want you guys to start thinking like this, like not just having everything spoon-fed to you, but knowing how to look at your chart. And so that's why I added the chart calculator. So head on over and check it out. Now, I did do a little bit of, I did not do a full-on research of how this happened, or how the eclipse panned out over the last 100 years, which is usually what I do. But I've been so busy working on the weekends that I really haven't had time. So I did just a little bit of research today on what happened the last time. So if you don't know, eclipses happen every 18 and a half years. And they stay in one sign for 18 and a half months. So the last time was September 22nd, 2006. And, Virgo is about service. It is about health. And those themes were seen in us being embroiled in the Iraq war still, and Afghanistan, right? Because of 9/11 and everything happened. And it was actually in Uttara Falguni last time, which is the first nakshatra of Virgo. And that is about service. It's about helping others. It's the star of patronage. So it's literally about philanthropy and lending a hand to other people. And so, I'm not going to go into the reality of what was going on. But in general, when you are in the military, you're serving, right? So we can see that there. Healthcare reform, we were embroiled in, trying to get the Affordable Care Act off the ground, which finally happened with Obama. So a lot of those issues we were facing in 2006, we can see now again, but we're just at another higher level in the spiral, right? So I just wanted to bring that up. Okay, now we have October 3rd through the 16th. And don't forget, you guys, I have on Instagram, go to Hindustan Astrology. You will see every day I let you know where the moon is, what nakshatra it's in, if it's changing signs, and also if planets are aspecting it and how will it affect your day, okay? So report we're doing right now is just for the major events happening in October, okay? October 3rd, the next day, we have at 5:27 a.m. EST, Saturn re-entering Shatabishak Nakshatra. This is significant because that's at 20 degrees of Aquarius. And Saturn is only going back to 18 degrees. So he's not going to be here for very long. However, it takes him 29 and a half years to return to the same sign. So this will be the last time we see Saturn in this nakshatra. So I think some significant things will come of it. Shatabishak is the 100 healers. It is about curing hard to cure diseases. It is called the veiling star. And the deity is Varuna, the god of water. And he's also called the sky watcher. So you see, visionaries from here as well, not just healers. But what are hard to cure diseases, right? Addictions, mental health, rare diseases, genetic diseases, cancer, diabetes, COVID, right? COVID. Have you been noticing what's been happening around you, especially if you are in the medical industry? Um, all of my clients that are doctors or nurses or whatever are telling me that there's an uptick in the virus. So I feel that when he goes back into Shatabishak, we're going to see an uptick again, and it's not going to go away. So, your immunity is in your gut. And so you really have got to make sure that you are doing your probiotics, you're doing your microgreens, you are not shellacking your colon with gluten, right? I mean, it literally coats it so that you can't absorb nutrients. If you're not absorbing nutrients, you are not a healthy person, okay? So first things first, everybody's got to clean up their diet. And I like doing my microgreens in my water every day. I don't know if you can see it, but one of these big cups, and I put in my microgreens, I put in my electrolyte tablet, some lemon juice, and fill it up with water, and I drink it all day, and it's helped. But I'm just concerned when I see that, Saturn going back into Shatabishak, okay? October 9th at 3:05 a.m. EST, we have Jupiter going retrograde. 27 degrees, 8 minutes of Taurus, Mrigashira Nakshatra. He doesn't go direct until February 4th. So, who is Jupiter? He's guru. He represents spirituality, religion, higher education. He is, for a woman, indicates the spouse, and in general talks about wealth and abundance. And wherever he sits in a chart, he expands it, right? So when a planet goes retrograde, it just means it's slowing down. But from our perspective on Earth, it looks like it's going backwards. And so it's actually brighter in the night sky, making it more powerful. You think retrograde would make it weaker, but it doesn't. It makes it more of who he is, right? So Jupiter is the great benefic. Where he sits, he protects you. So I feel like, this eclipse is in the shadow of him slowing down. That is a saving grace, just like Venus, as I said. But in general, when Jupiter is in Taurus, he's uncomfortable because Taurus is his enemy's sign. Venus is his enemy. And I call this the bull in the china shop. Taurus the bull and Venus is the china shop, right? And so a lot of times, it's funny, the day that he went retrograde, I had two guys come into my office that were like Jupiter and Taurus personified. Big guys, football player types and bald, but wanting to understand, all things Venusian, wanting to understand their women. One of them was, a stay-at-home dad, and he was cooking and gardening. And I just thought, wow, that is such a beautiful expression of Jupiter in Taurus, right? A man who is trying to understand women, um, even though he's uncomfortable. so, more of those themes are going to come out, right? Having a feminine approach to religion. And Taurus is about making money. So, Jupiter, even though he can represent wealth and abundance, he's not a materialistic planet in the sense like Venus is, right? She's more about the senses. Jupiter is about the mind. So, it's just going to be more, focusing on the divine feminine, right? Those kinds of things, focusing on women's arts. Um, so, yeah, and Jupiter will be making money in Taurus. So, and like I said, he's not comfortable with that, but that is a way that this gets expressed. Okay. So it could be a good thing for the economy. I'm just saying. Okay. October 10th at 1:50 a.m. EST, we have Mercury leaving Virgo and going into Libra, and that puts him for 2 days conjunct Venus. So that's definitely a time of understanding. It's a time of passion, but Venus and Mars together represent war. And I know you're thinking, Katya, how could that be, right? It seems like it would be about love. On a personal level, it can be. But, Mars represents boundaries. Boundaries are what define territories. Territories are what soldiers protect. And so Mars is the soldier. So right there, we've got protecting land, right? But then Venus is about values. And so when you bring these two together, it is the emotional, the intellectual values that propel the passionate warrior to protect even stronger, you see. So Libra is the sign of diplomacy and law. So I think this might also be a good sign of some peace accords coming about. I just don't understand how one country is allowed to do so much damage without check. I don't get it. I don't get it, but we're not going to go there. October 11th at 2:32 p.m. EST, we have Pluto going direct, 5 degrees, 26 minutes of Capricorn, Uttara Ashada. Now, Pluto, who is he? He is the power of the small. He is the underworld. He is secret societies. He is the power of the small to take us down like a virus or an atom bomb, something that's like you can't even see, but yet it destroys everything. That's Pluto. Okay. And so right now, the United States is having a Pluto return. And for us, it's happening in our second house. That's the house of money. It's the house of food. It's the house of speech. So having a planet go from retrograde to going direct is going to impact that house, right? So we all know food prices are through the roof right now. The economy's in shambles. Inflation's out of control. Pluto going direct might take the edge off, but as he's stationing, things flare up. Okay. So just anticipate, some fluctuations in the stock market. See where it is in your chart, and just pay attention to things coming out of nowhere that you didn't, anticipate. Secrets coming out, especially. So yeah, but he goes retrograde, I think, what is it, every year and a half or something like that? So it's nothing new, but we're definitely going to feel it that day, especially on a collective level, we will notice it. Then October 12th at 8:31 p.m. EST, we have Venus entering Scorpio. There are no other planets there right now. And Venus in Scorpio is very, she's very passionate. Brings about a lot of, wild kind of fantasy, kind of, sensual energy, right? And Scorpio is ruled by Mars. And again, that's that Venus and Mars' sign is going to be more of that flavor of conflict, a passionate conflict, but also romance as well. Then October 16th at 10:13 p.m. EST, we have the Sun entering Libra. Now, Sun is debilitated in the sign of Libra. The Sun in a chart, now I know he's a star, but technically he's a planet in astrology. So Sun represents our soul. It represents for a person, our father, our vitality. How much energy do we have? How good is our immunity, right? That's the Sun. And so when he's in Libra, which is his enemy sign, Saturn, Libra is about partnerships, getting along with other people. Sun is the ego, right? And so Sun does best in Aries because Aries is the sign of the self and he could do his best work there. But in Libra, he's forced to compromise with other people and Sun doesn't like that. So, if you have this in your chart, and remember, this is sidereal zodiac, don't try to use your Western signs. If you have this in your chart, a lot of times you have problems with the father, you know, issues, conflicts with the father. Okay. But happy birthday to all the Libras. We love your energy. We love your ability to be a peacemaker. We love your concern for other people. That is one expression of this, is that these people have a tendency to put all their energy into others, right? Into partnerships, and they don't keep enough for themselves. So this birthday, Libra, keep some energy for yourself, do something fun. And even if you know, are in difficult situations, try to take a day for yourself where you can, um, just take in all of the good things. Okay. So I think that, Libras are wonderful friends as well. Okay, now October 17th to the 31st. October 17th at 7:25 a.m. EST, we have the full moon, and it is almost a lunar eclipse, but it's not. Because the moon is just barely over into Aries, right? 22 minutes into Aries. So if it had been back here, no, actually, Sun would have to be here as well. Yeah. So anyway, a lot of times, we will have a lunar, a solar, then a lunar eclipse. So this is not technically a lunar eclipse, but it is the full moon, okay? And it is in Aries, in Ashwini. And, Aries is ruled by Mars, and it's all about go, 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 making, it's about engineering. It's about healing. Aries is the entrepreneur, right? And so Ashwini is the part of Aries that is the star of transport. And so it talks about cars and vehicles and going places, right? Racing brain syndrome can be seen in this placement as well. And for the United States, it is happening in our 7th house of opponents, right? So in mundane astrology, 7th house is about your opponent. And this is emboldening our opponent. Aries does talk about war, the ascendant is Libra, so that is good. But the ascendant is in the nakshatra of Chitra. Chitra is ruled by Mars. Mars is up here in the 9th house of the law, long distance travel, religion, spirituality, hope, optimism, all that kind of thing, right? So I feel like this is going to be a time when, tensions that have risen will, we will really start to be working on some peacemaking during this full moon. So that's a good thing, right? Now, Mars is the ruler of Aries, as I said. He's in the 9th house. Mars is in Gemini, though. He doesn't like being in Gemini. That's his enemy sign, Mercury. he's forced to think instead of just act. So there's going to be a lot of discussions, a lot of difficult words said. But yeah, this full moon, hopefully things will start to get some solutions. On a personal level, um, this Libra Aries axis, it's all about the self versus the partner or friendships. Those kinds of issues will come up. Um, so, Venus is now in Scorpio, making her very passionate. Scorpio's ruled by Mars too. So I feel like this is going to be a lot of push and pull with conflict, peace, right? Um, yeah. And then October 20th at 4:52 a.m. EST, we have Mars entering Cancer. Here it is. He's debilitated in Cancer. So what does that mean? Well, as I said, Mars is the soldier. So when he goes into Cancer, which is the sign of the mother, he's forced to have feelings. He doesn't like that. Okay. Um, and Cancer, you know, the mother is the protector in Vedic astrology. And so here we have a mother who is overprotective, who is reactive, right? Mars does best in Aries because he isn't reactive. Okay. When he's in Cancer, he flies off the handle and gets angry. But all debilitations are challenges. So if we overcome the challenge, then it humbles us. Whereas an exaltation can, because it's easy for us, can make us very arrogant in that area. So this is an opportunity for us all to get a hold of our anger, watch our words, um, you know, realize that what I've noticed is that a lot of people that have Mars and Cancer in their chart, their mother had a lot of trauma in childhood. And so they have passed that on to their child by either being overprotective or not protective enough, you know. Um, so just notice, your how do you nurture, right? How do you show your emotions? Do you bottle them up and let them all out at once, which is what this does? Or do you talk about things and say how you feel, So this is going to be an opportunity for everybody to get a hold of that. But on a collective level, this is indicating war. Absolutely. Um, because for the United States, you guys, it's in our eighth house, and the eighth house is change, transformation. Okay. And um, the United States has Rahu and Mercury in the eighth house. So Mars will be conjunct his enemy, Mercury, and Rahu. And Rahu, uh, in a way, it's similar to, I guess, similar to Jupiter in that he exaggerates other planets' attributes when they are conjunct him. So, yeah, I don't see the war possibility going away anytime soon, unfortunately, but it is going to be a push and pull situation. So just be aware of that. If you're traveling, just really be careful. But yeah, eighth house is, it's deep transformation, deep psychological processes as well. So the way the United States operates is going to be put under scrutiny when Mars goes retrograde, or I'm sorry, goes debilitated in Cancer. Then October 29th at 1:09 p.m. EST, we have Mercury entering Scorpio. And so he's stepping away from the sun and will be with Venus. And, it's actually not a bad thing because Mercury is the secret helper of Venus to get her back into balance. And Mercury loves being in Scorpio. This is where he does excellent research, right? However, for the United States, this is our 12th house of foreign lands. So information from foreign lands will come to light at this time. And then, 2 days later, we have Halloween. Really use Halloween as a time to face your fears. Lord knows we have enough scary things in this world as it is. We don't need any more things to frighten us, but this is a time to confront our fears. And Mercury in Scorpio is an excellent time to do that. So I hope that helps you guys. And, just remember that, we're going to be in the eclipse shadow until, the 14th or so, because the last eclipse is, the second. And then by the next full moon, that's when um, we'll be out of the eclipse shadow. Okay. Okay, well, I hope that helps you guys. I just do this off the top of my head, and I just want you guys to be aware of what's going on around you so you can plan your day. And again, if you want a reading, I go to hindustanastrology.com where I do Vedic astrology, tarot, and Reiki as well. I don't know if you know that I do Reiki. So I would like to add on um, a tarot reading, and we'll see how this all comes together. All right, you guys, let's pull some cards, shall we? So I'm using the Handel Tarot, my favorite deck. It just gets right to the point. I like the pictures. I like how the words they put on them. It just really resonates with me. My clients like them too. So let's see, for the whole month, what is the past, present, future for the month? Like, what do we need to focus on? Okay. All right, Great Spirit, please be with us. And only Great Spirit and beings of light are allowed into this reading. We are asking for the collective. What are the themes that we need to focus on for the month of October 2024? Interesting. Okay. Here we go. Past, present, future. Well, it's interesting. I pulled medicine cards for the eclipse over on TikTok. You can go look. And they were all negative, or I'm sorry, they were all reversed, meaning we got a lot of issues to work on. Okay. So what we have here, that's not working. Okay. So in the past, we have Three of Wands, virtue. Okay. This is how it looks upright. This is the reverse. So what I have discovered with my clients is that when this card comes upright, they're going back to church. They're renewing their vows. They are analyzing their morals. And in general, when it's reversed, it talks about being immoral, right? So this is the foundation of this month, and definitely what's going on overseas is immoral. I think, and this is also talking about, criminals as well. But on a personal level, what this is about is that we've got to return to our morals. We've got to return to what is good, what is right. You have an internal guidance system, and when you're doing something wrong. We all need to start really listening to that more now. I feel like we're all just so frantic, though, running around trying to take care of life that we forget to come back to center and ask ourselves, what should I be doing, right? So getting back to our morals, get back to church, okay? And because we've stepped away from our morals, we have Osiris reversed. And this is Son of Swords in the South, Prince of Swords. And what I have discovered, if you have watched my videos before, when Osiris is upright, it talks about occult mysteries, right? Being an initiate into some sort of secret society, right? Learning the mysteries of life, right? That's when it's upright. We have it reversed. You know what that means? A cult. That's right. It means, and it's interesting, lack of morals first, and then we have which is leading us to be in a cult. So ask yourself, who are these people that you're around right now? Are they really a good influence on you? Would your grandmother like them? I mean, honestly, I don't want to be around people because I had a good grandma. And so I'm talking about that. But if you didn't have one, then that's different. But the point is that, we have got to surround ourselves with positive people, not a bunch of, negative naysayers and people that are narcissistic and don't care about other people or say they do, but they don't really, criminals. What kind of people are you hanging around? Okay. Be careful. And even some churches can be like cults. Okay. That's all I'm going to say about that. But having this foundation produces the last card for this month, which is Three of Stones reversed. So it's the work card. You know, Jobs are difficult right now for people, and when this card is reversed, it talks about either the ending of a job, changing jobs, even changing careers. All of those kinds of things can come up when this card is reversed. So if you're not around, if you're not checking your morals, if you're not around good people, it's time to move on, man. Don't stick in a place where you're miserable because you're not helping anybody. You're not helping the company, you're not helping yourself. It's time to move on. Okay? So this, eclipse season is a time of change and transformation and cycles, and the winds of change have been blowing, right? So if you're afraid to take those steps to move on, this month is going to force you to do that. So do you want to be, kicked in the butt to be made to change, or are you going to take the change and the initiative to change yourself? That's pretty much what this is talking about. So, a little bit of tough love this month. But if we don't catch these problems, then they exacerbate, they get worse. And then we wind up, in hot water, or we wind up sick, right? Because holding in our emotions is what eventually makes our body sick. So I hope that helps you guys. Stay grounded, stay centered, stay in your truth, get away from negative people, and don't be afraid of change, okay? Namaste. I love you guys, and I'll see you later. Bye.